Hello everybody, Stuart from Content Villain here, and I just wanted to go over a new feature that we just pushed live. It's very experimental, so let's see how we get on. You'll find it in the text classification menu. We have this Text Rephraser short and long, whereas before we just had Text Rephraser, which was the long version. Now, the reason why we've made another one of these is because it was high in demand. The long version that we have is more like a spinner, right? We created it so you could put like almost like 10,000 characters within it at a time, and you'll get it back, and it'll be, they'll switch out some of the synonyms and all of that fun stuff, but it won't be perfect to be read sort of straight away. So we've been experimenting with a few different AI models and trying to determine which ones are best for this job. And I think we've got to a good point. Now, with using it with AI, it means that we're quite limited with regards to the character count. And yeah, we've got to a point where we can have 444 characters. The reason why we've done this is because each of these models that we've done a standard model, a formal model, a creative model, and ultra creative. They're all separate models, right? So we did standard, we inputted the data for standard, we trained it on the standard stuff, and then we looked at what we have left to play with for an input that we could put in based on the training that we've given it, which would still fit in within everything. And the same process with the formal and the creative and the ultra creative. And then we took the word count from each of those, knew what the maximum word count was, and we've done like as much as possible. So adding 444 there will give you the maximum on one of these models. So that is why we have this. But you'll see here, this is an experimental first version. Enter up to 444 characters of text you would like to reword. Choose the tone that you would like to use and hit the button. The more creative tones have a higher chance of running wild. We'll continue to tweak the formula based on feedback, so please do give us that feedback. We've taken heavy influence from Quillbot, and we did. I've been looking at Quillbot, it's a great tool, and I've been looking at ways that we could implement some of their stuff within our product. And this is what we've done with the standard, the formal, the creative, and the ultra creative. And each of these is going to give you a slightly different output. And the way that I like to test these things, I like to come into this random word generator and get a random paragraph, right? So we can just click in here. And we can then choose one. He sat staring at the person in the train, blah, 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 blah. So we can choose one of these. We can come back in here. We can paste it in. And then we can choose what model we want to use. So we choose a standard one. We hit the reword content. And what this is going to do is going to send it to the AI. And it's going to understand that we want a standard sort of rewording of this. And you'll see that this is the type of thing that we got at. It's saying there only. So sometimes we need to sort of fix the length of it. We've got a formula going, and we'll probably continue to tweak that to get it right. But you'll see here, it's a fairly good read-write. Stop watching. They've been happy together, as in many others. So quite fun. We go to the formal one. You can hit that. We should get a slightly different one because, again, all of these models are trained slightly differently. And that is what you get. So it's a reword. It's quite fun. Now the creative and the ultra creative are something that are a bit wild. So these are the things that are going to take the most sort of tweaking going forward. So let's just see. And I'd love to get your feedback because these are going to be these. There's so many toggles on the way that we train the models, and we're trying to get this right, but it's difficult to ensure we get it completely right at the start. He sat staring at her in the train, stopping at the same place, heading in the opposite direction. He could feel his heart beating in the chest. He thought of the dozens of other versions of her he'd encountered in the past. They'd been happy, joyful, and together. They were now sharing a face of longing in this. So again, we cut off there. We're just trying to determine the best way to do the characters and have it so it can return everything. So as always, push it out the door, let you guys play with it, give me some feedback, and then we can keep improving it from there. So that was quite nice. I think the creative and the ultra creative, it gets a bit nicer, a bit more like story. So you could put like paragraphs in here and actually sort of get to a nice point. And again, that's a nice sort of rewrite on the themes of the thing. So play with it, give me feedback, enjoy it. This is our short Reworder rewriter tool, which we've taken heavy influence from Quillbot. You know, I don't want to take that away from them. They've got a great tool, and if we can incorporate something, you know, half as good within Content Villain that we can create with AI, because it's a very complex nature of how to get this right. You know, there's a lot of things that you have to put into it. But I think the way that we've done it with training individual models for different tones is a way that really helps to ensure that quality. So, you know, give it a try. Go to app.contentvillain.com and sign in if you have an account. And if you don't, go to contentvillain.com, sign up for an account, and become one of our partners in crime for great content online. Thank you.